Hello. Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday? It's Tuesday. Welcome to the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like and all that stuff. Can you tell I'm trying to be a bit more professional now? I'm trying to build a following. And also I've been watching loads of YouTube videos and like the workout woman that I like, Natasha Osharan, thanks for asking. She always says the same thing at the beginning. She says, hello, my friends, please like and give me a big thumbs up and all that. And I just think it must work, like that sort of like programming-y thing of being like, help me. So anyway, if you haven't, please subscribe and like the video and share it all over the place. Print it off and stick it on your walls. I love you. I hope you're all right. It's exciting to be back. It's kind of like, I know we're really early days into this story, but I feel quite excited because it's not every day. I don't feel stressed trying to churn it out every day. So then when it is the days, I'm like, ooh, I'm excited. And I wasn't sure how I'd feel about the pre-recorded one, but then actually I kind of liked it. I thought, yeah, I don't want to do them all pre-recorded, obviously. I like seeing what you're chatting about, but it was quite interesting watching it back. It's like, I don't know, like being a supply teacher or something, watching you guys chat, knowing I couldn't see it at the time, but then I saw it afterwards. So welcome. Mackie is downstairs fast asleep. So she was making friends with another dog this week. And also she doesn't like it up here in the roof. This is my office where hopefully most of the videos will be coming from because I'm trying to separate my work and home life by doing all work stuff up here in the office. But I brought her up here today to try and get her to go. She was asleep downstairs and I was like, brilliant, I want to get some writing done. And she's not quite house trained enough that I can just leave her downstairs on her own yet. So I brought her up here hoping that she'd just go to sleep on the little squashy cushion. And obviously, no, she paraded around the office, eating everything she could find on the floor, like stuff I didn't even know. I'm like, how? We've only lived here about 3 weeks and I haven't eaten anything up here. So how have you found a packet for something? Wouldn't go to sleep at all. And then she just got a bit funny. I don't know whether it's because there's no windows, so it feels a bit, I don't know. She didn't like it. So I haven't brought her up for today. She's downstairs asleep on Tom. Like and subscribe. Yes, Dirkus, yeah. Like and subscribe. With the thumbs up. Yeah, I agree. I'm totally nobody. If you don't know what I'm doing now, you'll think I've gone mad. But basically, yes, the Adam Buxton podcast. Oh my god, one of my dreams is to be on Adam Buxton's podcast. Although I think I'd be too fangirly. Like I love him too much. I met him last year before last. I was emceeing a show and I knew he was on the bill and I was so overexcited about how much I like him and I was trying to keep it in a little bit. And then he was sitting in the audience and people were sort of saying to him like, you're on next, do you know you're on next? And he was going, yeah, I know. And I was thinking like, oh, well, he's not coming backstage. And then I thought, oh, is he going to come on from the audience? Oh, I hope he's not a prick in real life. Like, oh, that will make me really sad. And then so I sort of announced him, having no idea which direction he's coming on from. He suddenly comes scurrying on from the audience, holding his backpack. And he's like, I thought there was going to be an interval. I didn't realize I was going straight on now. And he was so apologetic and like, oh, it was really lovely. And then somebody said, oh, should I just take a picture of you guys together? Like knowing that I wanted a picture with him, but so I didn't have to say, excuse me, Dr. Buckles, can I have a token with you, please? His latest audiobook is awesome. Ooh, I haven't got that. How did I miss that? Why wasn't that my newest credit? Don't know. Right, we should probably do a story, shouldn't we? There's 5 minutes of waffling. It's exciting, this, isn't it? A whole different story and a different it's just a different world. I was so nervous about it suddenly going fantasy. And Tom was saying, like, what if they don't like it? Like, what if they just want it to be like another people story? And I was like, well, they didn't vote big people, so they can't have it. But then lots of people were saying, oh, it's nice that it's fantasy. And obviously we've already got a main character, so we'll see what she gets up to. It might just be a love story, but with tiny people. So I shan't tell you what won the vote yet. We can discuss it afterwards. I'm keeping a note of all the votes this time and how close they were. I don't think this one was particularly close. No, this one was pretty much a runaway. So we'll hit chapter 3, shall we? Let's do it. Chapter 3. Marine squinted in the brightness and, oh, there's a typo in the bloody first bloody words. Oh, God, idiot. I forgot to tell you guys, I recorded the audiobook for Klopp actually a couple of weeks ago, and we went in and we were like booked to be in the studio all day, and they said, what time do you want lunch? And he said, oh, we'll do it at 1 o'clock. We normally do it halfway through the day. And so I said, yeah, cool, we'll have lunch at 1 o'clock then. And I'd finished recording the entire audiobook by 1:30, and he was like, you've done this 2 hours quicker than I'd expect an experienced audiobooker to do. And I was like, yeah, I've been reading bedtime stories for the whole of lockdown. I did not make Klopp Mexican, no. I did, however, write and record a very special introduction just for the audiobook, explaining the accents and pointing people in the direction of the audience adventure if they want accents, but explaining that I would not be doing them for that book because I can't. Anyway, right, let's finally do the story. Oh, happy birthday, Chris! Happy birthday. Oh, I didn't know. I'd have brought cake. In fact, I've got a cake downstairs. Oh, after this is over, Chris, I'm going to go downstairs and eat my goo chocolate cheesecake thing. Happy birthday. Oh, that's really exciting. All right, chapter 3. Here we go. Marine squinted in the brightness and tried to focus on what Ezria was saying. The scanners were telling them that the object they were seeking was close and the right density to be the lost stone. Marine could feel her stomach fluttering and leaping, and she prayed that nothing strange would happen while they were on the mission. One failure in front of Ezria was enough to have her below ground for the rest of her life on some menial task. Now that she'd been up top and seen the sky, Marine didn't think she'd be able to survive only ever seeing the top of a canyon for the rest of her life. Her stomach was in knots, and she could feel a whining growing in her ears. She tried to squash down the panic building as to what this meant. It was an all too familiar feeling with Marine, and it never spelled good things on the horizon. Marine, Ezria, and the rest of the search team were part of a race called Tingions, a tiny people who stood barely 2 inches high and had lived underground for centuries. Tingions were famous within the subterranean world for wanting a simple life. It was why they had gone underground in the first place. They wanted to remove all complications like magic. Before they had gone underground, Tingions had all been magic. They'd coexisted with all the topside creatures, including humans, playing tricks and making things exciting and adventurous with their magic. But then the humans had got greedy, using the Tingions for entertainment and putting them to use powering mechanics and other things that made their lives easier. Humans began rounding up Tingions, trying to farm and breed them to be more powerful and more magical. They would put huge bounties on the heads of the most powerful Tingions and cage them up in circuses and on display. There was no chance of the Tingions fighting in an all-out war. Their magic was for crafts and lights and beauty and entertainment. They were far too small to be of any military power against a race as inventive and cunning as the humans. Tingions, like T-I, there you go, I've spelled it in the chat, Tingions. It was just a nice word, I thought it sounded nice. The Tingions had retreated and resisted the humans, gradually moving further and further out of reach. Over 200 years, they tried negotiating to be left alone and protest their independence, and there had been several groups of humans who protested the treatment of the Tingian people, but overall it wasn't enough. Eventually, the entire tiny race moved completely underground to forget their harassment and live away from their tormentors. Over time and generations, the humans came to forget the Tingians. They told folk stories and sang songs and tales, but the name of the race left their tongues, and each new set of grandchildren came to assume more and more that all the stories of fairies had always been nonsense. Below ground, things were changing too. The longer the Tingians stayed away from the humans, the more they adored and savoured the peace and tranquility of being left alone. Tales of captivity, enslavement, and torture were drummed into children as they sat around the dinner circles each night. It was drummed into the continuation of the DNA that they needed to be out of sight and out of mind of the humans in order to survive and stay happy. Tingions had always been gentle and cautious, but they had enjoyed the sparks of magic and mischievous delight that they could cause. Now they despised it. Any form of magic or attention-seeking was chastised and squashed, and they learned to fear. Gradually, the magic died out until no one could do it and no one wanted to. No one except Marine. Marine had been barely 3 cold seasons old when she had sneezed and sent red sparks shooting out of her toes. The sparks had tingled in the damp darkness of their burrow, and as the tiny Marine giggled at them, they had fizzed and danced around the room to the pattern of her laughter. Her parents had been shocked and terrified and had ignored it, doing all they could to keep Marine wrapped up out of sight in public in case it should happen again. They had never mentioned it between them. None of their older children had ever done anything remotely like this. It wouldn't happen again. It hadn't happened again, and so eventually they relaxed, chalking it up to an accident that wouldn't be repeated and wouldn't lose them their place in society. Marine, though, had reached 14 and felt the magic tingling inside her more and more. She had never conjured sparks again, but she knew something was different about her. When she got excited or too happy or daydreamed too freely, she would feel her stomach flutter and her eyes shine, and then things would start to go wrong around her. Things would fall. Was it falling if they went up first before crashing down? Beetles would arrive and always head straight for Marine. Mud would crack or water would trickle. She felt like the air in the earth couldn't always control itself around her, and she didn't know how or why. But she knew it was her fault. As she stood above ground in her commando gear, trying to concentrate on Ezria's instructions, she thought about all the times her strange tingling power had caused her to stumble and fail during her training, and she prayed that it wouldn't mess up her first mission above ground. Okay, so there you go. There's chapter 3. So yes, so we did the vote. Now, what did we have? You had the options of, does she have to care for her siblings? In which case, I was going to go down the Disney-ish route and have her be, I don't know, something's happened to her with the old parents and she's put upon looking after the siblings, come from a very poor family. If that was kind of the route I was going on, then I thought like maybe there'd be like a really strong class system with the Tingians and you don't rise above your station, like that kind of thing. Have royal blood. Didn't have that one as fleshed out, but I thought like that's always a good premise, isn't it? And then we'll see where we go. Or have a secret ability. And that was where I thought it might be quite fun if I'd already sort of put in the first chapter that they like things quiet and they don't want to be on the surface. They want to be underground in a way. So maybe this idea that they've bred magic out of themselves and just all kind of forgotten how to do it, but she can't control it and things go wrong. A bit of a Matilda situation. I think somebody mentioned, yeah, conceal, don't feel, she's a tiny Elsa, like that kind of thing. But we'll see what it means for her mission. I'm trying not to make it too much, but I don't know if you've ever read the Artemis Fowl books. I really love the way Owen Colfer like develops magic in those. So I quite like some of the ideas from that, but I want to obviously don't want to just copy his idea for underground fairies. So I think the magic has been bred out of the Tingians, but it seems to be resurfacing a little bit in Marine. But is she the only one? We don't know. So anyway, she's topside at the moment. She's on this mission. They're looking for what we now know is the Lost Stone. Why are they looking for that? We don't know yet. You'll decide at some point. But your question for tomorrow, for your live episode at 10 o'clock tomorrow, is what complicates the mission? And you can choose between rain, a cat. I was going to do dog, but then I was like, no, because you will just want it to be the dog. The last one, we're not having that. Rain, a cat, a human, or another Tingion. Claire says likes Artemis Fowl, thought it was an influence last week. Yeah, I love Artemis Fowl, and I can't bring myself to watch the one on Netflix, not Netflix, Disney Plus, because apparently it's bad. Bad. So, and very different to the books, but the books are wonderful. If you like fantasy, go and read Artemis Fowl, Owen Colfer. Okay, so what complicates the mission? Rain, a cat, a human, or another Tingion? I feel like I already know which way the script's going to go just from what you're putting in the comments. So comment under the video. Please don't forget to click the thumbs up, give the video a like, subscribe, and share about. And well, I will see you tomorrow. So if you can vote as quickly as you can tonight, if you're watching this on catch up, if you could try and vote before midday on the 19th of August, your vote will get counted. And have a lovely evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.